Okay, so this month is December, and me and my friends have been doing the challenge of, or not really a challenge, but we'll have been challenging ourselves to read the book of Luke. Recently I have fallen behind a little bit on Luke, but the other day I felt sort of a tug to read it. I have fallen behind, but I was reading 8 and 9 and 10, and I got to the parable of the sower. And I've heard this many times, I've read it a few times myself, I know this story, but for some reason something touched my heart and something stood out to me when Jesus was explaining what the parable meant. So this is Luke chapter 8, verse 13. Those on the rocky ground are the ones who receive the word with joy when they hear it, but they have no root. They believe for a while, but in the time of testing, they fall away. If you really listen to it, and you're probably listen to the reading, but the word is alive and active. It is speaking to you, which is it spoke to me. You receive it with joy, but there's no root. You hear it, you receive it, but there's nothing for it to grasp onto. And I think that is so powerful and so important that we realize, right? Because there's times in your life where you don't know what to do anymore, but you know God. Whether you grew up in a Christian home or you encountered God later in your life, He ends up being sort of your lifeboat. But the problem with lifeboats is you only need it when you're in danger. And it's that's when you need it. And then when you're good, you're all right, I'm good. Until the next time I fall off the boat, or I fall off the cliff, or I mess up, and then I need my lifeboat again. But that's not what Jesus is. Yes, He's your lifeboat, but He's your all year round boat. He's here for when you're sad, when you're happy, when you don't know what to do, when you do know what to do, when you want to give thanks, when you're going through something hard, when you need encouragement, when you just need to thank Him. He is there. And I just think it's so important to realize that. To realize that if you feel like you're in a stage of your life where I come to God and then I fall away, I come to God and I fall away, it's because you have no root. You don't have a deep enough root. You're not in the Word enough. And this is something that God has personally convicted me of you need to be in the Word, right? You can't just want Jesus when it's hard, or when you're going through something, or when you don't know what to do. You need Jesus 365 days, 24/7. It's not just a 9 to 5 thing. It's not just an Easter, Christmas, and Christmas Eve thing. It's a forever thing. And we get so caught up living in our own lives of what am I going to wear, what am I going to eat, what am I going to drink, and it literally says do not worry about those things. Because if God takes care of the birds in the sky and the grass and the trees and the flowers, how much more will He do for you? And I just think everything that I have around me is because of God. The reason that I woke up this morning, and the reason I have breath in my lungs, and the reason that I have a beautiful family and a beautiful friends and an amazing boyfriend and a God to thank is because of God. But none of that matters if you don't have a root, because if you don't have a root, you don't have the heart to realize where all of this comes from. Your heart grows. You learn to love. Your sights broaden, if that makes sense, rather than seeing something for how it is, strictly how it is, you see something bigger. You see the bigger picture. Something doesn't go your way. A door is closed, another one opens. Maybe not in the moment that you want it to open, but it does. And I think the reason that it doesn't open as soon as you want it to is because then you're not going to take that time to get closer to God and to choose him in the trial, And I think that's just, he will still help you. But if you have no root, then it's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. What's to say that when Jesus comes back, you're not in the good part of the loop, in the following him part of the loop. You're in the part where you're worried about everything else but God. And what happens then? But God doesn't want us to find out what happens then when we're not in the good part of the loop, because he's not a loop, he's a lifestyle. And that's something, it's hard. It is hard. You have to believe in him and you have to trust him that he's here with me right now, just as he's with you right now, or the person next door, or the person downstairs, or the person in another state. And he is with you at the same moment, that he can do anything while he's doing something different for somebody else. And honestly, it's just, it blows my mind the way the Lord works. It's just like such a shocker. And we take it for granted a lot. And I say we because I am included. I myself am included in taking him for granted because I'm so worried about graduating when he could come back tomorrow or even in 5 minutes. So grow the roots where the roots matter. That the seeds that he dropped grow and that they're able to flourish into the beautiful thing that he wants, and that they're able to produce fruits of the spirit and not of the flesh. You learn to crucify your flesh daily and not do what you want, but what the Lord wants. And even if you're in a position of temptation, God will always provide a way out, but you have to be willing to take that way out and get yourself out of the cycle. And yes, that is a personal conviction for me as well. But I just felt it on my heart to share that and to say what I felt needed to be said. Okay, bye.